Hello, everyone. My name is Kacper, and my project is called Rooks and Books. I'm a student from the north of Ireland, currently in my last year of high school, and I'm hoping to study engineering or maths at university, more specifically at Trinity College Dublin or the London School of Economics. The inspiration for my project comes from a hobby that I've had for the past few years at this point. Since I was a young boy, I've always enjoyed reading books, and although fiction did a good job at taking me away to a fantasy world, nonfiction books were just so much more interesting. This hobby is learning about economics and politics, and I've been thankful to experience a huge number of events, lead and manage multiple groups, as well as meet incredible individuals on my journey to understand the socio-political landscape. On screen are a few photos of me during FFI, as well as my political friends from online, seen on the circular photo on the LSE Old Building and the campus of Trinity. The problem. We are living in an era of misinformation. If you ask a teenager about the socio-political environment we find ourselves in, you will get a response that resembles a baby trying to talk. From a jumbled up mess of issues and useless solutions to calling for the abolition of entire institutions, yet replacing them with a similar institution, just with different management, shows just how much teenagers, especially in today's society, have become indoctrinated and propagandized by media. To see why, asking the question of where do you get your information, the top answers would include TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, and maybe if the teenager still looks at the news, then maybe a somewhat reputable news source will come up. The problem that we are essentially facing is misinformation. From the election to Supreme Court decisions to interpretations of data, all of these topics and ideas that are being misrepresented come from one key issue: lack of political education. The image on screen illustrates how both sides of the political aisle interact with one another, and it certainly isn't healthy. The image represents both sides of the spectrum, as both of them take the time to scream at each other using a megaphone, while the other side stands and doesn't listen. The people who I'm targeting for this project are young people in general. This includes anyone 13 years of age plus to around 18 or 19 years of age. In addition to the group of teenagers that are going to participate will be between 4 to 10. This number will be the first run for this year and will provide a good foundation for the future. They will become knowledgeable in politics, economics, philosophy, and sociology, and will be able to further their own agendas for creative protesting, and they will be able to understand key ideas, concepts, and be able to implement them through correct infographics on different platforms. The solution to this problem is quite simple. I have numerous amounts of experience interacting, leading, and studying all of these important topics, and would love to teach other young people to debate, discuss, and most importantly, understand the ideas of giants that came before us. I would run a book club of sorts, supplying a number of students with reading materials and hoping to prepare them for their own projects, where we would all come together to protest an issue, write or create infographics about issues, specifically without expanding on the array of misinformation. Some of the first books that we would read in this year would be Economics in One Lesson and The Prince, to see how the project would go and how teens would enjoy it. I know for one the impact of Karl Marx that Karl Marx has had on the political sphere, and as you can see, the book itself is quite massive, and it's quite funny because this contains 2 volumes out of 4. For books like these, I intend to give only specific chapters or pages, and readers who would like to go further can then read onwards. I'm hoping that this project would be delivered on a weekly basis. However, this may change depending on the availability of time. The whole project would be delivered over a period of 6 months, leading from the new year to summer. The books would span around 2 to 3 months each, and because for the first run through, we're only doing 2 books. If this will be a success, we will welcome more members and more books. I currently live in the north of Ireland, and right now the most likely place to deliver my project would be through my school, having access to a classroom where I would be able to have peace and quiet. However, this may of course change, and the delivery may occur through Zoom or other means, potentially even outside centres or public workspaces. Who will be leading it? Me. I have a substantial amount of experience on my back, and I hope to share everything I have learned and continue to learn every day with the people who would love to learn more. However, sometimes even I need help, and this help would come in the form of receiving assistance from my friends. As for managing it, I would also prefer that to be only me. I prefer to plan projects and manage them myself, especially because this is my personal project with FFI, and I understand the importance of it and the goals that I want to achieve. Some additional information. The costs. The cost is around 180 to 200 pounds. This would be enough to cover the cost of 1 year's worth of books. The teenagers will keep these books at the end of the program, so they can always reread them whenever they want to. Donations of materials is an interesting one. I may be able to receive certain objects such as notebooks, paints, pencils from my school. Another donation of sorts would be free books from institutes that are kind enough to provide free books for any keen students. Unfortunately, I have a contact with multiple such institutes, which is invaluable. In terms of raising money, I would ask for donations from neighbors, influential individuals such as politicians that I know, such as my politics teacher, and other sources. Finally, as previously said, the volunteer aspect may appear in the form of helping from my friends. Thank you for listening.